They say history is written by the victors, but some stories of courage, honor, and silent heartbreak, live in the wind, carried by those who refuse to let their truth die. This is one of those stories. Long before the United States became a nation, before borders and flags and politics, there were people who walked this land with quiet reverence. People who believed the earth was not owned, but shared. People who honored the rivers, the mountains, the sky. They were called the Ironwood people. And this story is about how they were nearly erased.
For generations, the Ironwood tribe lived in peace in the valley that now lies between what we call Virginia and Pennsylvania, protected by ancient forests, guided by their elders, united by tradition and bound by one law: honor the land, honor the family, honor your spirit. But when the first British flags rose beyond the river, everything changed. Outsiders came, first with promises, then with greed, and finally with fire. Among the Ironwood was a young warrior named Tawa Redhawk, son of the tribe's chief and protector of the valley. He believed in peace, but he had the heart of a fighter. He hunted not for sport, but for purpose. He spoke few words, but every step of his life was chosen with meaning. He would become a legend, not because he sought glory, but because war came for his people and he could not look away. On a cold morning in winter, a hunting party returned with news. Foreign soldiers had crossed the river and built a wooden fort on Ironwood land. They claimed it was for trade, but they carried muskets and brought no women, no children, only men preparing for war. The council gathered. Voices argued. Some said negotiate. Some said prepare for battle. But Tawa's father, Chief Aaron Redhawk, spoke with calm authority. No man owns the land. We will meet them as friends first. But if they come to take what is not theirs, we will become the storm they fear. Tawa listened, and for the first time he felt it, a silent warning that destiny was approaching. 3 days later, Chief Aaron Redhawk led a delegation to meet the British soldiers who had built a wooden fort beside the Iron River. Tawa rode alongside him, silent but watchful. As they crossed through tall winter grass, they saw it, the British fort, a scar on the land. Trees had been cut down without prayer, the river's edge damaged by crude construction. Smoke rose from chimneys. Men in red coats guarded the walls with muskets aimed outward. This was not a trading post. This was a warning. The British commander stepped out to meet them, tall, sharp-faced, with cold ambition in his eyes. His name was Captain William Harrow, a man who believed the world belonged only to those bold enough to take it. He smiled, but not with kindness, only calculation. Harrow, welcome. You stand on land now under the protection of the British Crown, he said. This land has no crown. These rivers, these forests, they belong to the spirits of our ancestors. We live here as guardians, not owners. Calm, firm, Chief Aaron responded. Harrow feigned politeness. Then perhaps your tribe would like to enter a partnership. We build here. You hunt and live as you always have. In return, we ask for just one thing: obedience to British law. Tawa's jaw tightened. He had heard enough. He stepped forward. There will be no British law here, he replied. Captain Harrow studied him in silence, then smirked. He had found the warrior of the tribe, and like all conquerors, he knew one truth: to break a people, break their strongest spirit first. As the Ironwood delegation turned to leave, Harrow gave his first warning, disguised as diplomacy. Harrow calling out Chief Redhawk, if you walk away now, know this: the crown has claimed this valley, and the crown does not negotiate twice. Chief Aaron paused, staring back at the captain, not with fear, but with ancient fire. Chief Aaron, then let the crown hear this: the Redhawk people do not kneel, not to kings, not to crowns, not to thieves. Tawa looked at his father with pride, but inside he felt something cold, something heavy. The river of peace was closing. The river of war was rising. That night, The elders gathered inside the council lodge. Firelight danced over stone walls. People waited war or peace. Elder Miskwa spoke first. "We cannot fight muskets with arrows. We cannot fight iron with bone," he said. "Warrior Nico, we can, and we will. Better to die free than live as slaves." Murmurs erupted. Fear, anger, hope, doubt. Finally, Tawa stood. "War will come, whether we choose it or not. The British have not crossed the sea for trade. They have come for land, for control. They will offer peace only to buy time, and when we are unprepared, they will strike. We must unite. We must prepare. But we must not strike first. Let the world know we fought only to defend what is ours. Then even the spirits will stand with us," he said. The lodge was silent. Chief Aaron nodded slowly. "Then it is decided. We prepare. But we will not shed the first blood," Chief Aaron said. Outside, snow began to fall. Silent, cold, relentless. Winter had come to Ironwood Valley, and with it, the shadow of destiny. Weeks passed. The British did not attack. Instead, they built roads. More soldiers arrived. Wagons of tools, powder, heavy cannons. Every day, the fort grew like a disease spreading in the heart of the valley. Then came something unexpected, a British peace delegation. They arrived under a white flag. Captain Harrow did not come himself. Instead, he sent a preacher, the soft-spoken Reverend Samuel Huxley, a man who wore a gentle smile and carried a Bible instead of a musket. But Tawa knew, smiles are the sharpest weapons of invaders. Inside the council lodge, Reverend Huxley spoke humbly. "We come in peace. The British Crown wishes to coexist with your people. We offer schools, medicine, and trade in return for cooperation. We wish not for war, but for friendship," he said. The people listened. Some nodded hopefully. Some shook their heads. Then Huxley pulled out a sealed letter. "Captain Harrow offers a treaty, a written agreement to guarantee peace and shared land," he said. Tawa stepped forward. "A treaty? Written by invaders? Signed by thieves? If your words are truth, then speak them to the river and wind. They carry no ink. We do not sign away our land," he said. Huxley forced a smile. "Huxley, son, sometimes change is inevitable. This treaty will protect your people from what is coming." Tawa frowned. "Tawa, and what is coming?" The Reverend's smile faded. "Progress." Later that night, Tawa caught whispers outside the village. The Reverend was not done. He met Cato, a young hunter from the tribe, easy to influence, hungry for status. Huxley, with soft voice, said, "There will be violence soon, but you're smarter than the others. Help us, and when the British govern this land, we will reward you. Power, position, protection." Cato, uncertain, "What must I do?" Huxley, "Nothing yet. Just tell us what your chief plans." And so betrayal entered Ironwood, not through war, but through greed. One night, just before dawn, Cato lit a single torch and placed it on a hill, a signal. Moments later, boom, 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 the British cannons roared. Fire lit the sky. Screams erupted from the village. Ironwood was under attack. The British had struck first. Women and children fled into the forest as musket fire shredded the lodges. Arrows flew back but fell short. The British stayed back, firing from long range. It wasn't a battle. It was execution. Tawa ran through the flames searching for survivors. "To the forest! Move! Protect the children!" he shouted. He saw a musket aimed at a child. Tawa leaped forward, arrow to the throat. The soldier fell. Tawa pulled the terrified boy behind cover. Across the village, warriors formed a shield line and fought fiercely, but shells tore holes through their ranks. Finally, Chief Aaron Redhawk shouted, "Retreat! Save the people!" The Ironwood fell back into the forest, but not everyone made it. When the smoke cleared, the British had taken prisoners. Among them was Tawa's younger brother, Keem. As the village burned, as the screams faded into the night, Tawa fell to his knees in the snow, his heart burning with a vow. This land does not belong to the British. and my brother does not belong to them. I will bring him home, or I will die on this land before I surrender it." The war for Ironwood had begun. The Ironwood survivors hid deep in the forest caves of Red Mountain. Their village burned behind them, homes lost, graves desecrated, their way of life shattered in a single night. But the fire in their spirit did not die. Inside the cave, warriors tended to the wounded. Mothers wept for lost children. No one spoke of surrender. They spoke only of survival. Tawa stood alone near the cave entrance, gripping his war spear, staring toward the valley. His friend Nico approached, loyal, fearless, built like a bear. "The tribe lives because of you. You led the retreat. You saved them," he said. Tawa responded, shaking his head. "I didn't save everyone. They took my brother, Nico. Then we take him back." Inside the deeper cavern, Chief Aaron Redhawk met with the Council of Elders. His face showed no fear, but his heart carried the weight of every lost life. Tawa entered. "Father, I'm going to the British fort. I will return with Keem or I will not return," he said. "Chief Aaron, alone? That is not bravery. That is death." Tawa, "Then let death come for me alone. I will not drag our people into war." Chief Aaron, firm, "This is already war." Tawa, "They came to destroy us. I must show them. Ironwood does not break." Chief Aaron stepped forward, hand firm on Tawa's shoulder. "If you go, you do not go alone. You carry the spirit of every ancestor with you. You carry the heart of this land. And remember my words. A warrior fights with courage, but he wins with wisdom." As Tawa prepared to leave, a voice called to him from the shadows. "Kato, I'm going with you." Tawa turned slowly, his eyes narrowed. He knew betrayal when he saw it. Tawa, "You? Why?" "Kato, because I know where the British keep their prisoners. I can get you into the fort." Tawa, "Why should I trust you?" Kato, guilt showing, "Because I owe you my life and the truth." Kato confessed. He had been feeding information to the British. He believed their lies, that they would bring peace, help the tribe, spare lives. But now he saw the truth. Harrow never wanted peace. He wanted dominion. The council demanded Kato's death. Betrayal was unforgivable. But Tawa stopped them. "Killing him now wins us nothing. Let him fix what he broke," he said. Chief Aaron spoke coldly. "Then let his life be bound to his oath. If he betrays us again, you, Tawa, will deliver his punishment," he said. Tawa nodded. Kato bowed his head in shame. Nico spat on the ground near him. "Nico, if you betray us again, I'll tear your heart out myself." That night, Tawa, Nico, and Kato moved through the darkness toward the British fort. They traveled silently, wolves in the night. Their mission: rescue Keem, gather enemy intelligence, and return without being caught. As they crawled close, Kato pointed. "There, the south wall. The guards change watch every hour. We have minutes to move," he said. They climbed the rough wooden wall and slipped inside like ghosts. The fort bustled with British soldiers. Drunk, careless, unprepared. Tawa spotted a storage house, a place prisoners might be kept. But as they approached, the door opened. Captain Harrow stepped out, alone, as if he had been waiting. Harrow smirked slowly. "I knew you'd come for him," he said. Tawa froze. "Harrow, your brother?" "Yes, he's alive, for now. But I must warn you, bravery impresses me. But foolishness?" Cold grin. "Foolishness makes me angry." Musket hammers click in the shadows. Soldiers surround them. Tawa tightens grip on his spear. He had walked into a trap. The warriors of the Lakota village stood in silence, the smoke of burning cabins still rising in the distance like wounded spirits ascending to the sky. The air smelled of war, ash, blood, and betrayal. Chief Maddow surveyed the survivors, his heart heavy. Families were destroyed, elders murdered, children taken. This was no longer a border skirmish. This was extermination. But far away from the broken village, deep inside Fort Harrow, Another battle was unfolding, one not fought by arrows or rifles, but by temptation. Tawa sat bound to a wooden chair, though not in chains. Harrow wanted him to feel as though he had a choice. Captain Harrow poured 2 glasses of whiskey, one for himself, one he placed on the table before Tawa. He smiled with a thin politeness that did nothing to hide his cruelty. "You know, Tawa," Harrow began, "you're smarter than the others, stronger too. You understand the world is changing. Tribes, traditions, they all fade. Men like us survive by choosing the winning side." Tawa glared at him but said nothing. Harrow stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Join me. Help me bring order to this land. I'll give you freedom, land, gold, even a seat at my side. You'll be more than a noble savage. You'll be powerful." Tawa's jaw tightened. He could still hear the screams from the Lakota village, still picture the British soldiers burning homes with laughter in their throats. And Harrow wanted him to betray his own people for gold? For scraps? "Your people fight for a dream that will die," Harrow continued. "The British Empire does not lose. Stand with us, and you'll live like a king instead of dying like a dog in the dirt." Tawa lifted his head slowly. "You mistake me," he said in a cold, steady voice. "I do not fight because I believe we will win. I fight because it is right. There is a difference." Harrow's smile faded. He leaned closer, eyes like knives. "Then you've chosen death." "No," Tawa replied. "I've chosen honor." Cato knelt before Chief Maddo and the tribal council. His wrists were tied, and his head was lowered in shame. "You led Harrow to our lands," cried one of the warriors. "You caused this massacre. You betrayed us," another shouted. Cato lifted his head, eyes burning with tears, not of weakness, but of guilt. "I tried to save my son," he said. "I did not know Harrow would attack. He promised a peaceful trade." "Harrow does not speak peace," shouted Elder Wakasa. "You were blinded by fear." Maddo raised a hand, silencing the council. "Cato," said the chief, "your intention was not betrayal, but your actions brought death to our people. And now your son is captured, used as leverage by Harrow. You must face your judgment." Cato closed his eyes. He did not beg. He did not hide. He accepted the weight of his choices. "Then I accept my fate," he said. Maddo stepped forward. "You will not be executed," he declared. Gasps rippled through the warriors. "Instead, you will lead the mission to rescue the Lakota children and Tawa. You will earn back your honor or die trying." Cato bowed his head. "I swear it. By the blood of my ancestors, I will bring them home." The village murmured. The council was divided, but Maddo had spoken. The path ahead was set. As night fell, Cato prepared his weapons while Chief Maddo gathered a strike team to storm Fort Harrow. Meanwhile, inside the fort, Tawa silently prepared for his own escape, knowing Harrow would never let him live. 2 men, once brothers by spirit, now walked different roads toward the same destiny. One seeking redemption, the other refusing corruption, and both ready to face war. The night sky hung heavy with storm clouds as a cold wind swept across the plains. Fort Harrow stood in the distance, its watchtowers lit like sharp fangs biting through the darkness. Inside those walls, Lakota children were held hostage. Inside those walls, Tawa was chained. Inside those walls waited the man who had set this war ablaze, Captain Jonathan Harrow. But tonight, the Lakota were coming. Chief Maddo gathered his warriors behind a ridge overlooking the fort. With him stood Cato, silent and resolute, the burden of redemption heavy on his shoulders. Eagle Feather, the silent tracker. Niska, the fierce huntress who had lost her sister in the raid. And Grey Hawk, Maddo's oldest friend, scarred but unbroken. They crouched around a crude drawing of the fort sketched in the dirt. Maddo, we enter from the east wall, weakest defense. Eagle Feather will remove the sentries quietly. No gunfire until we breach. We are ghosts until we strike. Niska, and once we're inside, Maddo, we split. Cato and I find the children. Grey Hawk, Niska, Eagle Feather, you locate Tawa. When the signal fire burns. Cato, we leave together. The warriors nodded. No more words were needed. Tawa sat in a dark cell beneath the fort, wrists bound by iron cuffs. But he was not alone. Across from him, another prisoner, weak, bruised, Little Bear, Cato's son. Little Bear, weakly, they said, "My father betrayed us." Tawa, no, do not carry that lie in your heart. Your father made a mistake, but he fights for you now. Tawa stood and tested the iron ring bolted into the wall. He groaned. He felt the stone beneath it weaken. "Stay near me," he whispered to Little Bear. "When the storm breaks, we will run." A silent arrow whistled through the air, striking the throat of a British sentry before he could cry out. Far below, Eagle Feather melted back into the shadows. Matto signaled, "Move." The warriors descended the east wall like wolves in the night, silent, precise, deadly. Niska slit the throat of another guard with a blade of obsidian. Grey Hawk dismantled a tripwire trap buried beneath straw. Cato led 3 warriors toward the holding barracks. But before they reached it, a bell rang. Someone had seen movement. Torches ignited. Rifles cocked. Fort Harrow was awake. Harrow, from the ramparts, shouting, "We are under attack. Kill them all. Leave no prisoners this time." Gunfire exploded. Warriors dodged into cover as bullets tore through the air. Matto drew his bow and fired. 1, 2, 3 British soldiers fell. Grey Hawk lit the signal fire, flames rising like war spirits calling vengeance. Niska, "They know we're here now, we take them fast." Cato kicked open the barracks door. Inside, the children huddled in fear. British guards tried to shield themselves, too late. Cato's tomahawk struck, and justice fell swift. "Children, with me. Stay low, stay quiet." But as Cato moved to lead them out, a voice stopped him cold. "British officer, looking for someone?" He turned and froze. The officer stepped forward holding a pistol to the head of Little Bear. "Officer, surrender, or the boy dies. The fort is under full attack. Tawa is still imprisoned. Cato has found the children, but his own son is now a hostage again. And Harrow is watching from the shadows, setting his own trap. The real war hasn't even started yet." Thunder cracked over Fort Harrow as if the sky itself raged at the war below. Smoke had begun to rise from burning supply wagons. Gunshots echoed. War cries answered. But inside the eastern barracks, time froze, because Cato stood face to face with his greatest fear. A British lieutenant held a pistol to the head of Little Bear, Cato's son. The children behind them trembled. Lakota warriors waited in silence, weapons ready. "Lieutenant," sneering, "drop your weapon or watch your son die. You have 3 seconds." Cato's pulse thundered. His tomahawk felt heavier than iron. Cato, calmly, "If you hurt him, you die first." "Lieutenant." "Wrong answer." The pistol hammer clicked back. Then, from behind, the lieutenant's eyes widened. Blood filled his throat as a blade slid through his chest. He collapsed. Standing behind him, Tawa. The iron cuffs hung broken from his wrists. His breathing was heavy, wild, but his eyes were steady. "Tawa, I told you, brother. I was coming back." Little Bear ran into Cato's arms. Cato stared at Tawa, stunned, guilt and relief crashing together inside him. "Cato, you saved him. After everything Tawa, no time. Harrow is here, and he wants more than land. He wants blood." Tawa turned to the warriors. "Tawa, take the children to the tree line. Hide until the war horn sounds. Go." They obeyed without question. Now only Cato and Tawa remained inside the burning fort walls. 2 brothers who had once walked the path of peace, now standing on the edge of vengeance. Tawa locked eyes with Cato. "You want to heal your soul? Then fight beside me. But hear me, I do not fight for vengeance alone. I fight to protect what remains of us. If we spill blood without honor, we are no better than Harrow," he said. "And if showing mercy destroys us?" he replied. "Tawa, then we die with clean spirits." He held out his hand. "Tawa, No more betrayal. Cato stepped forward. Cato, no more weakness. They clasped hands, warriors reborn. Harrow's trap. A booming voice cut through the fort. Harrow, Tawa, you think you've won something tonight? You've only lit the fire that will burn your people to ash. Tawa and Cato emerged into the open courtyard. Dozens of British soldiers surrounded them on the walls, rifles raised. But none of them fired because Harrow stood in the center of the yard, waiting, holding something in his hands, a torch, and behind him barrels of gunpowder piled high. Harrow, here's my offer. You surrender now and I spare your tribe. Or I light this torch, and Fort Harrow becomes your grave. Tawa, you won't survive either. Harrow, history won't remember that. It will remember that savages attacked a British fort and died like animals. Thunder rolled across the sky. The flames of war danced. The world held its breath. Cato softly to Tawa, what now, brother? Tawa, now? We take back our future. He reached into his belt and pulled out a war horn carved from buffalo bone. He raised it to his lips and blew. The Lakota war horn sounded in the night. The trees answered. The warriors returned. The battle for the soul of a nation had begun. The war horn echoed through the night like the cry of an ancient spirit. From beyond the fort walls came the rumble of hooves. The Lakota had returned. Harrow's soldiers scrambled to the barricades. Hold the line! Reload! Reload! They shouted in panic, but fear had already settled in their eyes. Tonight would not be a battle, it would be a reckoning. The Lakota stormed the fort. The east gate exploded inward as riders crashed through, led by Chief Matto himself. Firelight danced across his war paint as he raised his tomahawk. Matto, for our children, for our land, for our ancestors. Gunfire erupted, warriors answered with arrows. Smoke filled the sky as blades clashed with steel. Tawa and Cato charged forward side by side, brothers once more. A British bayonet lunged. Cato knocked it aside and struck. Another soldier aimed from above. Tawa threw a spear, pinning him to the wall. This was war, but not chaos. This was purpose, fury, and justice. Harrow's final card. From the center of the fort, Harrow still stood calmly, torch in hand, beside the pile of gunpowder. Harrow shouting, I will burn every last one of you. I will leave nothing but ashes and bones. He raised the torch, but an arrow struck his hand. He dropped it. Eagle Feather appeared on a rooftop, bow drawn. Eagle Feather, you speak too much, Harrow snarled. He grabbed a sword and charged toward the armory, toward a backup fuse line only he knew existed. Tawa, he's going to blow the fort. Cato, stop him. The battle inside the inferno. Cato sprinted after Harrow into the main hall, now engulfed in flames. The wooden ceiling groaned. Beams collapsed. Fire roared around them like a living beast. Harrow ripped a burning plank from the wall and swung it like a weapon. Harrow, you were never a warrior. You're a coward who begged for my favor. Cato, no, I am a father, a protector. And tonight, I earn my place. Steel clashed. Harrow fought with brutal precision, trained by empire. Cato fought like a man carved from mountains, raw and relentless. Sparks flew as blades collided. Harrow struck Cato across the face with the sword hilt. Blood splashed the floor. Harrow laughing weak, predictable. Just another savage begging for mercy. Cato spat blood and grinned. Cato, you mistake mercy for weakness. With a roar, he tackled Harrow through a burning table. The sword skidded away. They fought hand to hand, punch for punch. Teeth cracked. Ribs broke. Rage met hate. Harrow finally reached the fuse line, a single spark away from lighting it. But Cato grabbed him by the throat. Cato, this land will never be yours. He slammed Harrow into the wall again until the soldier's strength failed. Tawa's choice. Tawa and Matto arrived at the burning hall entrance. Matto, kill him. End this. Cato lifted Harrow by the collar, ready to break him. But Tawa stepped forward, voice steady. Tawa, No, Cato froze. Tawa. If we kill him like this, we become him. No honor, no future, no nation. Let him live, so he can witness the truth. We are still here. The fire roared. Outside, the battle ended. The Lakota had won. Slowly, Cato released Harrow. The British captain collapsed in defeat. The fort falls. They dragged Harrow outside as the last flames consumed the fort walls. He stared in disbelief, not at defeat, but at what he could not destroy. Lakota warriors standing united. Lakota families holding their rescued children. A nation still alive. Chief Maddo raised the war horn to the sky. Maddo, tonight, we do not celebrate victory. We honor survival. And we promise, this land, our land, will remember us. The tribe roared, not in triumph, but in defiance. Harrow is defeated but not dead. The Lakota have won, but peace is far from secure. And now war will grow beyond the plains, because empires never forget humiliation, and freedom always demands a price. The flames of Fort Harrow died before sunrise, but the wind that crossed the plains carried no peace, only warning. Tawa stood on a hill overlooking the smoking ruins, the rescued children safe behind him. Cato stood at his side, no longer a man torn between two worlds, but one reborn in purpose. Chief Maddo rode forward, his face carved in silence. They had won a battle, but they knew the war was only beginning. Far in the distance, a line of riders emerged on the horizon. Not British, but American cavalry carrying the flag of a nation rising in ambition. At their front, a man in a black coat with a silver badge, watching the smoke through a spyglass. He lowered it, turned to his officers and said, "Fort Harrow has fallen. Send word to Washington. The plains must be cleansed. The Indian resistance ends." Now, back on the hill, Tawa felt the earth tremble beneath his feet. The enemy had changed, but the threat had grown. Tawa, voice low, "We fought for survival tonight, but tomorrow we fight for our future." The wind howled. The world held its breath. The war for the soul of a nation had only begun. Before you scroll away, remember this. History is not just a story of the past. It is a mirror showing us who we were, who we are, and who we may become. Every empire that rose believed it would last forever. Every conqueror thought power would make him immortal. But in the end, only truth remains. Here on PhilioHistoryTV, we do more than tell stories. We awaken forgotten voices. The brave, the broken, the betrayed, the undefeated. Because history is not dead. It breathes in us. If this story moved you, if it made you think, then you already understand. Knowledge is a weapon. And in the wrong hands, history becomes a lie. Stand with us in the search for truth. Walk with warriors, kings, rebels, and legends. Let us learn from yesterday so we may rise wiser tomorrow. Like this video, share it with someone who still believes in courage. Subscribe to PhilioHistoryTV, where history lives. And turn on notifications so you never miss a battle of minds and souls. This is not just a channel. This is a brotherhood of thinkers, a tribe of truth seekers. Welcome to PhilioHistoryTV, where stories shape destiny.